Hello. Okay, let me control my camera. Ah. I started and it doesn't want to listen. There we go. Welcome. Welcome to the Eden Sea from Chrono. Very nice. I like finding worlds like this. So today we're going to talk about a few things. There was a Nintendo Direct, a lot of exciting games I'm personally very excited to hear about, and some unfortunate news that a lot of people have been talking about, which, of course, people who support piracy or hacking consoles and stuff have been greatly talking about recently. So I want to talk about mostly the positive things, and let's leave the negative things and drama things for later on that. So, also, you might see him in the background. Don't mind him. He's a friend of mine. So, his name's William. He's very nice. So, don't mind him if you see him in the background. That he's just listening to that. So, but anyway, and there's a small possibility random people might show up because I'm experimenting with leaving it on Friends Plus. So that's a small chance that I'll throw out though. So let's get on with it. So, I love how this actually makes sound effects. That's very nice. Whoever made this world truly adds a little touch to it. So, Nintendo Direct announced a few things. Fire Emblem is getting another Dynasty Warrior style game. So, I have only played the first Zelda Dynasty Warriors game. I have not played the second one or the first Fire Emblem one. I do know those two games have received some criticism. I've heard the second Zelda one's really bad on Switch, so that's I did get that one on a deal at GameStop last year for like $35, so I think that'll be fine as long as it plays fine. But they announced a new one. It's based off the Three House one, which was a really popular entry, oddly enough. It was pretty well received. Aaron called it his most favorite Fire Emblem game, which I thought was really interesting because it's supposed to be probably the most casual also. Though admittedly, not everyone enjoys the instant death mechanics and such. So, also this world is very beautiful. If you're familiar with Chrono Cross, not to spoil anything, this is a very beautiful area that it has a very sad scene that happens during it. So if you're very familiar with it for that. But, and we do, there's a reason, obviously, for us being us in this world, too, that, so, I haven't played Three House yet, but, I've heard it's pretty good, so I don't think it's too shocking they're expanding on the storyline of Three House with the Dynasty Warrior style game. Probably not too shocking. Nintendo has been a little smart on capitalizing on the popular titles they've been having of that, so that's all cool. Now, the Advance Wars remake got more information that came out during this Direct. It's going to have online play, which is actually kind of intriguing. That's something I see with a lot of the games from this Direct, that there is going to be a lot of online functionality, which is something I've greatly criticized Nintendo's online service with. The lack of reason to pay for the online. The PC Master Race is always going, oh, you pay for your online. How cute. Which, I understand that. But, Nintendo has the most poorest excuse requirement to pay for their online service. So, on top of not having a lot of games that fucking use it in the first place. So, it is nice to see a lot of these have online functionality. And the remake has online verses in that, which is a really nice idea since the original Game Boy Advance games did have link cable and local verses that you could do with them. So I think that's a nice step with that. They did also announce that it's fully voice acted, which the clips they played in it, they personally sounded bad to me, but that's a different topic. Otherwise, it looks nice. I have the original GBA versions, and I don't have Nintendo's online service, so unless it gets really cheap, I'm probably not going to really check it out anytime soon. But it does at least look good and faithful, and hopefully it could lead to a new Advance Wars game. And I think it's also good for Japan, because Japan really got screwed on Advance Wars series for some reason. It's really weird. Like, if you never knew anything about Advance Wars history in Japan, I highly recommend looking up some videos on it. It's very weird what titles they barely got and what titles they didn't even receive at all. They didn't receive the last one at all, and they didn't get a physical version of the first or second one for a very long time. Also, anyone who's familiar with Chrono Cross probably understands why this is here. So, that's looking to shape up. They also announced Splatoon 3. I still need to play through the storyline of Splatoon 1. I've only played the online of 1 and 2. I did get to play a good chunk of 2s online before they went with the pay service. So, it's a shame about that, because Splatoon is actually a really fun game. I don't know if Splatoon 1's online even still functioning. Which, that's something we're going to talk about near the end of the video, actually, because, you know, you probably know what that's going to lead to. But, they didn't talk too much about it. It looks like the storyline's going to have something to do with those weird fish things, which was a separate cooperative mission thing in Splatoon 2, so, which is not necessarily a bad angle, because, the storyline doesn't really, in 1 and 2, involve them, so I guess it's an interesting idea to involve them in the story for the third one. There was also an announcement from lots of nice announcements from Square Enix. Square Enix has been on a fantastic roll with a lot of Wii releases and exploring the PS1 games lately. And Front Mission 1 and 2 are getting released for the Nintendo Switch, but only footage of Front Mission 1 has been shown. The thing I'm curious about Front Mission 1, though, is we did, for those, you know, who are very familiar with the Front Mission series, we did get on the Nintendo DS, which came with a whole new story campaign where you play as the bad guys. I do have to wonder if it's going to include that, because, you know, with these pixel remasters they've been doing with Final Fantasy, which are being accurate to the original game, so all the Wii releases that added new stuff, they haven't been adding those to the pixel remasters. Probably the greatest difference out of those was Final Fantasy 2, which they kept a lot of changes to the battle system they did with that, but that's a whole different mess of differences of that. I'm not going to get in that, but I do have to wonder if they're going to be more accurate or have that extra campaign in Front Mission 1, because as far as I know, they have not commented on that. But it is a whole remake of it, so either way, it should be very interesting. But obviously, if it doesn't have the added campaign, it looks more like it'll be more worthy to get the DS release then. So, as for 2, they haven't really said anything about 2 except 2's coming also. So, hopefully we'll get some footage on that. 2, as far as I remember, 2's never been localized officially, so that's a good thing. Then there's also, as why we're in this very lovely world in VR, Chrono Cross Radical Dreamers Edition, which I am probably one of the few, like, 5 fucking people excited about Radical Dreamers being localized on fucking Chrono Cross. I mean, I played the fuck out of Chrono Cross. I got all the characters and everything. Delightful game. I know it's very mixed vibe in that, but it's really exciting to me for Radical Dreamers. It's a game that even in Japan never existed physically in any form. It was only on the Satellaview, which, if you don't know what that is, it was basically a satellite-based digital store that was for the Japanese Super Nintendo. So it was only for that. So it never had an official physical release. So if you see them on eBay, they're ones people made that don't have a proper save system because they need the Satellaview system to actually have a proper system. So, but I'm very excited for Radical Dreamers getting a localization. Now, I'm sure some people are concerned whether that localization is going to be any good. Subjective. It could be good. It could be bad. I'm hoping it'll be good. Square Enix hasn't been too shitty with localizations like a few other companies lately have been. So I have faith in it. It's just a simple visual novel. It's really hard to fuck that up. But like I said, I'm probably the only person excited about having the short visual novel finally released in a physical form and localized. So I'm excited about that, but I'm also excited about the Chrono Cross. It looks good so far. Of course, we didn't get to see a whole lot of it. Chrono Cross already had a lot of nice features in its New Game Plus that they could easily activate probably in your original playthrough that would work for like Wii Masters, for having speed ups and stuff. So the game almost practically already designed for this kind of Wii release. So it'll be a very interesting moment for people. I definitely, if you've never played Chrono Cross, I recommend giving it a try. It's a very different game, and if you can live with that, I think a lot of people can enjoy it. So I really loved it. It's basically Square Enix's Suikoden, because it has so many fucking characters. Merely a lot of them are random, but there's a lot of nice replay and a few different endings and shit. So it's a fun game. Look forward to it. I don't know if I'll replay through it for Chrono Cross, but I might. It was a good game. But how you? Damn it! I said earlier. How do you pronounce it again? Oh, damn it! I forgot how to fucking pronounce it again. Oh, good lord, I forgot how to pronounce it. It's that Bandai Namco franchise. Kalina? Oh, fuck. It's a platformer. It's a 2D, 3D platformer. Has a very devoted fan base. I've never played any of them. I'm kind of excited for it now because I've became more multi... I'm sure somebody will correct me in the comments. I always forget. Oh, fuck, I hate when I forget how to pronounce something. I am so bad at that. Klonoa. Klonoa. Please make fun of me in the comments. Thank you. But it's a re-release. I'm not sure how much work. I haven't really compared to its original release, so I'm not sure if it's hugely different from the original release, but a lot of people are excited about. I will probably definitely get it, because I missed the original games. And I'm sure they're very expensive, so great opportunity to get them. Also, Portal 1 and 2 got announced for the Switch. It's going to have online and split screen for the co-op in 2, so that's also very interesting. Because you can't do that with the original Portal 2, if I remember correctly, on consoles at least. So that's actually very nice for preservation of the co-op mode, because I'm pretty sure it didn't have split screen in the original console release. But I played through all those, but that's nice to see them on Switch. And the previous gen, like, they were on 360, PS2, so I don't really foresee them having a big problem running on the Switch likely. So those will probably be good. Obviously older games, so unless you missed out on them or you happen to be a younger generation that didn't exist then, fun games though. Definitely recommend playing. If you never played them, great opportunity for that, as long as they don't fuck up the ports somehow. Live or Live, completely redone in a 2D 0.5 kind of thing. It's really this title. I am super excited and completely shocked that it's getting a fucking a localization. So Live or Live had a it has a extra copyright owner. There's another company that partially owns the rights to it. It only came out in Japan like I think about a year ago with that. So, and no news of it getting localization. When I first heard about it, I was like, ooh, this is an interesting opportunity. There could be odds of it being localized then. It's just been dead silence until now. And I am very excited. I own a cribbed SNES copy of the game. And I have played a little bit. I played the prehistoric era, the Western era, and I think it was the Westler era? Yeah, the Westler era. But very excited to see the localization. Lots of upgrade along with a lot of the sprite work and that. It looks fantastic. And I'm so shocked that we're even getting a physical release in the West. It's not going to be one of those weird situations where you're going to want to import an Asian version if you want a physical English version. I'm very shocked by that. So, Square Enix is putting a lot of faith in this, in my opinion. I think it's very important for us to support it. It looks very beautiful and everything, so I'm definitely getting it day one. I want to see more physical releases of older titles. I want to see things like Bahamut Laguna come to America. Fantastic game also. There's also that weird one where it uses the Japanese language. I'm not quite sure how they would localize that one. I'm surprised fan translators were able to localize that, let alone, but I would still be very interested if they were to check it out. But I want Square Enix to continue looking into their backlog of games that never came to the West. I think it's a very smart idea. After all the damage the Final Fantasy XIII trilogy did to the Squaresoft end of their company, so I think it's a path they should continue. So I'm looking forward to Live a Live so much, even though I basically know the story. I never got to experience the whole game, so similar to Saga Frontier Remaster, it is a fantastic opportunity for me to finally really experience the game. Nintendo also announced essentially the successor to Nintendo's Wii Sports with Nintendo Switch Sports, which is another title that has online play announced. And a lot of people back on the Nintendo Wii era really wanted Wii Sports to have online. So for those, Wii Bowling, Tennis, and several other games, online mode. Very nice. I don't know if it's enough for me to bother buying the online side. Thing it sucks with VR is, you know, you occasionally get like a scratch, like an itchy scratch somewhere on your face underneath the headset. Ugh. Sometimes it's such an annoyance. Boo-hoo. But it's basically just, you know, a more advanced version of Wii Sports. A lot of similar ideas using the controllers. They're adding soccer too, which uses, if you played Wing Sports, where, you know, you have a strap on your leg for Wing Fit, not Wing Sports. Wing Fit, where you have a strap on your leg for Wing Fit. They're using that same concept for soccer, so they're going to have some ideas with that. Is it worth the online though? That's I don't know. For me, I'm still really sketchy. Like, come on, they want you to pay to use your phone as a chat room for Splatoon 2. You pay them to use your phone to chat on a program in Splatoon 2. Just open Discord. I just, like, I don't get that. That seems so stupid to me. But I know. I've beaten that horse over and over and over again on that. But I do give them credit. They're adding a lot of new games with online. That's one thing they really... Because they've hardly had anything for online. There's hardly been anything. So it's good to see that there's getting more titles, more reason to have the fucking online. So, I do admit I am kind of tempted, because I did really like Wii Sports' bowling. I probably played way too much of that when I had a Nintendo Wii, to be honest. My mom and father also loved it. I have a lot of fond memories playing matches. So hopefully that turns out pretty decent at least. Then, of course, you have the Triangle Strategy, which is going to be kind of the success for the Final Fantasy Tactics. Looks still very gorgeous. I know there's a few people who feel like it has a lot of bloom, which it's hard for me to really make a call. Like, what I am on the side where I don't prefer having a lot of bloom. I do feel like a lot of companies make way too much use of bloom. So, but until I see a lot more of the game, it's kind of hard for me to make that criticism. Other than that, though, it still looks really good and everything, so I have a lot of hopes for it to be another new title again, they've been on a very nice roll on having a lot of new franchises and stuff, which is a little sad for Final Fantasy, because other than 14, Final Fantasy's just been memed on. I mean, come on, that newest one that's supposed to be a reimagining of Final Fantasy 1. Darkness! Darkness! I'm here to kill darkness! It's like, it's almost like a fucking meme of Kingdom Hearts, like, light, darkness, light, darkness, light, dark. Like, I remember there was a YouTube video, like, it counted, like, every instance in Kingdom Hearts where they're talking about darkness, 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 darkness. Anyway, but then, like, that reimagining Final Fantasy 1, I don't have high hopes for, but, again, that's dwelling on a different thing. While Final Fantasy is dying in my eyes, they're making lots of new games that look very good. So, I have high hopes for Triangle Strategy. Cuphead DLC was also, well, that's been announced. It looks like it's finally getting set in for release, which is something I've been waiting for, because the Cuphead devs say they are making a physical version for the Switch, but they were waiting for the DLC to be done so it can be a complete version, which I greatly appreciate. I really appreciate that, because there's just been this horrible trend lately with limited companies. Oh, here's a limited print of this one game. You pre-order it, and, the pre-order is closed, and you can't cancel them. Half a year later, you still haven't gotten it yet, because, it takes forever. It's like, oh, it's going to get free DLC. Oh. Then you find it again, and it's like, oh, there's more free DLC. Oh. And then now, there's a new physical version with those DLCs on it. Oh. And then it's like, oh, and now there's another free DLC. And maybe a new version after that. Oh, come on. Like, Blasphemy's done that recently. There's like 3 versions of Blasphemy now. And then there was another 2D Dark Souls style game, Dead Cells. Dead Cells has like 4 versions now. It's getting fucking ridiculous, and I am not liking that trend. I am not liking that. Please stop doing that. So that's why I really appreciate Cuphead's devs doing this. I really appreciate, the odds you'll never see this, but I really appreciate the fact you waited for your DLC to be done to put on a physical cartridge. I really appreciate that. I've been very patiently waiting for it. I am very excited. I would die lots. I am going to try and beat it. Oh, I didn't mean to move my camera. Whoop. Whoop, 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 whoop. But, so hopefully that basically means the physical version will hopefully be coming out soon, hopefully. Now, something that a lot of people have been talking about for the last few months is, where is Mother? Earthbound. Where is Mother? Where is Mother? Where is Mother? And Nintendo finally announced releasing Mother 1 and 2, Earthbound and Earthbound Beginnings on the Switch. Still nothing about the third game. I've been wanting to make a video about the third game, talking about how I honestly think, as long as SJW culture is how it is in kind of dominance over industries, that I don't feel like we'll ever get Mother 3 in the West until that environment changes, but that's another topic for another day. But very exciting for Mother 1 and 2, especially with the announcement that we're going to go over in a little bit. I think that's very good news, because the physical versions of Earthbound are very expensive. So, then Xenoblade Chronicles 3 got announced. Nintendo is milking the living fuck out of Xenoblade Chronicles. But I've heard, the last few have been good. I've only played the first one, as you all know, on the Nintendo Switch. Fantastic game, by the way. I need to play the extra story that's on the Switch version. I solely bought the Switch version for that little bit extra story. I think Pad said it's only like a fucking hour long, so enjoy the money, Nintendo. But, you got 2 in the expansion thing with 2, so then you got 3. So, hopefully they're not over milking it, like going to, oh, keep beating the dead horse until it's no longer loved or anything with generic and horrible ideas. That's the only thing I'm a little concerned about, but hopefully they don't. Oh, and I forgot about X on the Wii. So, you got the original X, 2, the expansion 2, 3. So, well, in the Chronicles series, we're up to basically 5 games, basically, then. So, I hope they're not over milking it. I also find ironic, because Nintendo did not originally want to give us Chronicles in the West. So, I do find it ironic that, now it's really successful, and they're milking the living fuck out of it in the West now. So, Nintendo. No faith in us. Then it becomes popular and then it's milk the fuck. Quick! Milk! Milk with all your life. But I can't really comment much on it. I know a lot of people liked it too, so hopefully it just continues the good stuff and maybe does a few nice changes of that. So, I definitely get still, likely. Unless something really stupid happens, but hopefully not. Hopefully not. Now, for some negative things to talk about. The Kingdom of Hearts Cloud Edition, the worrisome sign of a dark future for the Switch. It's no secret the Switch is getting old. It's, the lesser powerful out of the consoles, and Sony and Xbox has went to their next generation, and this Nintendo has yet to announce any new powerful version of the Switch or a next console. So the Switch is obviously lagging behind in power. So Kingdom Hearts, all versions are cloud-based, so they can function on the Switch, because they can't really run natively properly unless they put a lot more time. If they put more time into it, it's possible they could run, but it's clear they're taking the cheaper route of just having them function on servers or that. So it's just obviously something I don't personally like, because you don't get to own it. And of course, as we're going to talk here in a little bit, when they shut down, you lose any access to it. And being cloud-based, you don't even have the excuse that's on your hard drive. It's not on your hard drive, so you lose it just completely. And the price point is also so laughable and everything. I've heard they won horribly. The price point is horrible. You just bail off buying a fucking PS3 and get the collection that way. Of course, you can get like all of them on Xbox and PS4 basically at this point, aside from the handheld ones. I think the only handheld one that ever got properly ported was the Dream Drop. Which, I mean, to be fair, the first DS game is quite fucking horrible. Oh, that was horrible to play through, so... Honestly, porting that to console probably would be a big improvement, honestly. It's like that meme with Picard. It's like, why don't you fucking remake the awful games and make them better? But, I don't look forward to that, and sadly, a lot of people are expecting that to become probably the future of more high-fidelity games on the Switch until Nintendo announces their next console. And I think it's just so stupid. Because, I mean, the big selling point of the Switch is for it to be portable, right? You can't be portable with cloud gaming. I don't think you're going to have a constant internet connection that can stream video game wherever you go. So it's just so counterproductive towards what the Switch is. Ownership. The price point is a fucking outrageous joke, and they won horribly, so... Yeah, that's looking poor. Looking very poor, so... And for the last topic today for this video, though, is, of course, the sad news of the Wii U and the 3DS eShops closing, which I believe, let me double check, Satellaview... Okay, you have the Satellaview, the DSi, Nintendo Wii... Let's see, am I freaking... Oh, yeah, there was also the very limited internet phone... For those who don't know, there were very select Game Boy Advance games with a handheld device thing that, like the Silent Hill GBA game. Yes, there was a Silent Hill GBA game in Japan, by the way. Had extra story missions you could get via cell phone accessory. So, I'm counting that. So, Satellaview, phone thingy, Nintendo Wii, DSi. So, adding on top of that, the Nintendo Wii and the... okay, wait. Satellaview... brain fart. Okay. Satellaview. Cell phone. DSi, Nintendo Wii, the 3DS eShop, and the Wii U. So that's 6, if I'm assuming I'm not missing anything else. That's 6 dead stores Nintendo has buried with games that we've lost access to and shit. They're all gone. So, I hope the newer generation is starting to realize the great threat to their nostalgic childhood with shit like this. Because I've seen don't go to Twitter. You're going to see so many fucking people. Oh, who cares? It's a dead console. I thought everyone hated it and shit. Like, yeah. We'll see what you think about that when you're my age and you want to nostalgically look at some of those lesser known games that never got any love or ports. We'll see how you think about those $200 price tags for the physical versions. We'll see how you feel about that. I mean, I don't like digital, but I don't think it necessarily needs to die either. Because digital has a place in meaning. It allows access to wearable games that are really fucking expensive. It also encourages scalping not to go too ballistic. Because I guarantee, I tell you right now, if you have any interest in Xenoblade Chronicles X for the Wii U, if I was you, I would go buy it now. Because so far Nintendo has never announced a Switch version. They've been too busy making new ones, so it doesn't seem like they're interested in porting it to the Switch. Right now, it's like $100 for the US version. If you're in Europe, buy it now. It's like 20, 30 euros still in Europe. Buy it now. Do not regret it. Because if they never port it, I guarantee you it's only going to go up. It's going to keep going up, and it's going to become fucking way too much money. I'm telling you right now. But, the shops are going to be closing. Next year, they're going to be down permanently. So we basically got like 4 months where you can buy shit, because they're going to make it where you can't use your credit card anymore. So you have to buy point cards. And that's stupid because, let's say there's just a little cheap game you want to get, but you have to buy a point card that's more points than it, and there's nothing else to spend. So it puts you in that situation where you have points unspent, and then you have to debate, do I want to get more points or not? So, they did say you'll still be able to update, play online games, and use codes on the Wii U. I have not heard whether that's going to be the case for the 3DS, but it's still very sad. And I think it's an excellent example you got to keep in mind the 3DS is Nintendo's best-selling handheld device. So you could even argue one of the best, not counting the Switch. We're not counting the Switch in that. Switch is kind of a hybrid. So, if you do, I know you could throw the Switch at that. But point is, 3DS was really good selling. And Sony's keeping the Vita store online because of fan outcry. Nintendo is likely not going to change their mind on fan outcry because they're stubborn fucking old people. Like all politicians. Which is a shame. I mean, they're just encouraging more piracy, honestly. I don't encourage piracy, but I definitely can't blame people when companies do retarded shit like this. Especially if you own the games. And so, if you paid for the game, I can't say you don't have a right. I know the laws for it's all mixed up and shit, but it's why I just like supporting physical shit that works offline. Because, I mean, I understand your rights of ownership and shit, but sadly the lawmakers and shit are a bunch of fucking old people who don't give a fuck. And it's just a real shame. And Nintendo just continues to not care about preserving the old games. They're just burying them. And of course, the irony on this whole announcement is their initial FAQ that came out before it got censored. Yes, they censored their FAQ. So initially there was essentially a thing saying like, well, if you're closing the shops, where can I buy your classic games now? Will there be a future place for me to buy them? And they essentially, I don't remember the exact wording off my head. I kind of regret not getting a screen image so I could read it verbatim. But essentially they said they are just chilling with the service they're currently offering, and that there are no plans to offer the ability to just buy the classic games. You know, just be like, I want to buy Mario Brothers for $5. Because, you know, basically how the classic games work on the Switch is you subscribe to the online service, and then with the N64 game, there's the expansion shit for adding more games to your library for the N64, which is just the fuck. I know the Game Pass is doing really well for Microsoft, but Nintendo, you're not doing this right. Microsoft is at least putting effort into their Game Pass. You're offering like 3 games every half year on the fucking Switch. And let's face it, the Switch is likely reaching the end of its life here in a few years. I would imagine at this point Nintendo is getting whatever the fuck the next console is. Likely, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if within the next 3 years we start hearing about the next Nintendo console, if not sooner than later. I mean, like I said, there's only so long the Switch is going to keep going, and it's going to face the same problem they're doing now. They're going to shut down the service, and you have even less of a legal right to pirate the games, because at least on the older consoles, you could say, well, I bought the game, and Nintendo didn't offer me a way to preserve the game and shit. That defense gets thrown out now because it's like, oh no! It was a subscription system, not a purchase. Didn't think about that, did you? But, yeah, just, it's sad news because it's going to, there are going to be digital-only titles we're going to lose access to. Sadly, a lot of the limited print limited print company games we have now that help a lot of these games get preserved weren't around during the lifespan of the 3DS and the Wii U. Limited One has only done 1 game for the Wii U and 1 game for the 3DS, which is a shame because there's a lot of games that are likely going to die with them and likely will only be playable through piracy, sadly, which is a real shame, but that's how these digital stores are. For you younglings, there's a lot of games in these digital stores that are lost, and very few get the resurface. And it's only going to get worse as this shit keeps going on. I know I'm very biased against digital shit, but you have to keep in mind, I'm thinking in the mindset of, what if, like, for some of you, the Wii U and the 3DS are like your childhood, right? You know, and when you get to my age, you're not going to have that available anymore. I try to attach that feeling to, like, things I played. Like, what if the 3DS eShop was a thing during the NES? How many games would have been lost? They wouldn't even be able to play at this point in time, because they existed on a digital store and not a cartridge. That's how I look at this shit. And I am happy a lot of young people are getting in the face and realizing the ramifications of supporting digital in this fashion. You know, I'm good with DRM free shit, like GOG, good old games. Like, that's, like, I'm not against digital. I'm against you not having your fucking rights for it. So, and obviously consoles, there was no console that gives you any proper digital right management of your shit. So, I don't think that's going to happen anytime in the future, sadly. Because these companies, Nintendo to me just feels like they're just like shutting down the store so they can try to get you to buy Mario Brothers again. Shut down the store, start a new one, repurchase. Shut down the store, we open, product again, we purchase. And I feel like that's what Nintendo keeps doing with these fucking stores. Because at this point, I feel like we should not be in this cycle of starting a new store. You should be in a cycle of the store fucking carrying over to the next console. If you properly program it to be able to work on your next console and beyond, you shouldn't need to be constantly making a new fucking storefront. But that's just me. Again, like I said, there's profit to be made in making it a reoccurring thing that you have to keep buying. So, and Nintendo has really, really shitty consumer-based shit like this. So, I don't really think they have any plans of ever doing anything like that unless wallets, withhold money from them. So, I just hope enough young people see what Nintendo's doing and see that the digital future has a price. Sure, it's convenient, and you don't end up with shitloads of stuff like I do in my room. I understand, it's hard to have a lot of stuff like that for some people, and I understand that. So having it digital is convenient for space and stuff. Like, I understand there are all points to digital, there are all advantages, but there's a price to pay for your ownership. So if you want to play in the future, it's delisted or the store is closed or stuff, it's gone. So, unless you do piracy, which, could get you in hot water. I mean, Nintendo's taken, 5 people to court over WOMs? And I know the recent guy, which pretty much deserves it, because there were emails of him talking about profiting off WOMs. So, he basically put that on his own. But still, there were people with WOMs that got taken to court by Nintendo. So, Nintendo is becoming increasingly harsh towards anyone using WOMs, whether you feel like you have rights or not towards it. So, the waters are continuing being murky in that. So, but I'm sure that I'll get comments of people dissing and dismissing my thoughts on that. And I mean, it's fine if you disagree with me. I'm not necessarily... I just hope you understand the price of it, is all I basically hope people know. But that's pretty much all I have my thoughts on the Nintendo Direct and on the eShop closure. I don't like it myself. A lot of games are going to be lost. At least Earthbound and Earthbound Beginnings got carried over to the Switch. A lot of people were really wanting that. So, at least we got something out of it. But, there's a lot of titles just going down the drain. And there's a few titles I need to look up because I'm sure the prices of games are jacking up. Now, luckily, I bought basically all the JRPGs on the Wii U. There's a few, wacky, that Tank game on the Wii U that I've never bought. I've been meaning to buy, but I never got it. But I want to get that. That's a silly arcade-ish game of that. I need to make sure what games I want because I'm sure at this point, I already know scalpers are targeting 3DS games. And that's the other thing I probably would point out. Get the games you want now, because if they're not all way expensive, they're going up. I know the Shin Tensei titles and shit are all way through the fucking roof on the 3DS, but it looks like it's all way, scalpers all way fucking targeting shit. And, again, get the stuff you're interested in, because it's just going to go all over the place. But that's pretty much all I got to rant about and talk about and my thoughts of that. Please let me know what you think. What are you excited about the Nintendo Direct? Whether one of the games I talked about or one of the games I didn't bother to talk about. Yeah. For a second, I just thought I would never have to pronounce that one game. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember how to fucking pronounce it. Damn it! Damn it. Stop laughing. He's laughing. Ha! But anyway, let me know what your thoughts are. I would love your opinions. What do you think about this? Especially the digital stores closing down. I'm sure most of my regulars will agree with how that's going to be horrible. But I want to hear your thoughts on what you're excited about. I am just so excited about Live a Live getting localized. I'm just buying that instantly. I'm just so surprised about getting physical. But anyway, you take it easy. Have a good day. Chill. See you all next time. Hopefully an Elden Ring coming up soon. I'm so excited for that too. So excited. I hope it kicks fucking Elder Scrolls ass. Destroy Elder Scrolls. Anyway, until next time, I'll see you at the Proving Grounds.